everybody, and welcome to our live session again. So, today we are talking about something very important and something that every parent needs, but sometimes many of us struggle to actually build. And we are talking about support network that actually works. I know man is not an island, but the support network that we build, is it actually making or breaking us? So that is what me and Nelly we're going to be talking today, because as parents, especially single parents, it can feel like everything rests on our shoulders. We're working, we're parenting, we're managing the home, we're making the decisions, we're dealing with the challenges and trying to take care of ourselves at the same time. But here is the truth. You were never meant to do everything alone. So, hey, we are going to be diving deep today to look at what can work best for you in terms of your network. So, for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Peggy Barre. I'm the founder of Arise and Thrive Academy. And let me pass you to Nelly to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. I am Nelly Kwasingwe, a transformational life coach, social worker, and founder of or for Hand in Hand Community CIC. Today is a very crucial topic: building a support network. Is it working or is it breaking? Because now we know that we can't do anything on our own. And I know when Peggy was introducing, she talked about single parents. We are not just dealing with single parents here, it's parents as a whole, parenting as a whole. So, speaking from social work perspective, when we are doing assessments, we talk about support network from the very beginning. Why is it important? That's something that we will be looking into, because from the social work perspective, it is good to identify your support network very early when you get involved with social services, because if things go wrong down the line, the support network will back you up. It doesn't have to be only family. It could be friends, it could be church members, it could be neighbors, whoever you trust. And I think this is something that we will talk about, because it's not just picking anyone to say, oh, I know this person, they are my support network. How are they your support network? So we are going to really, really deep dive into support network. It is very important to look out for a support network that works for you rather than against you and your children and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that we just wanted to just reiterate again is that having a support network does not mean that you're incapable. Because the statement that you always hear parents say is that, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm managing, I'm doing okay, I don't need any support and all of that." But really, you don't need any support. So it does not mean that you're incapable. Nobody is invalidating you or questioning your judgment of survivor or your independence. It just means that you understand that community connection and support are part of the building, or are a part of building a healthier life. So that is just the notion of having that support network. And we are talking about even something as starting from your own family members, just like Nelly said. So that is what is very important today. So again,
I
maybe we
think,
may start by
Peggy,
first of all, yeah.
just before you go ahead, I just want to say, because this session today is recorded, it's not live,
Mm.
like Peggy introduced at the very beginning. Reason being that we don't like to miss out on sessions. This is a recorded session, so we keep you up to date and we want to maintain consistency. But if you have any questions, any comments, put them in the comments below and we will read that, and if there are questions, we will answer that. So thank you for staying in tune.
Thank you, Nelly, for that. Thank you. And I think the best place to start is, first of all, let's define what is a support network. Somebody may say, "Lena, I already know what it is," but what is it really? What is a support network? I don't know, Nelly, have you got a definition?
I've not got a definition for support network, but from my understanding, probably I can explain what it is from my perspective, but not defining it. So, support network is the people
Mm-hmm.
that you have around you that can support you. You don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have to get that support when you are struggling.
Yeah.
So, it's just people around you that can support you.
Yeah. And it is, again, we're talking about, Nelly talked about people. It can also be organization. It can also be resources that can support you emotionally, practically, and socially, or even professionally. Because another, as parents, sometimes, like I said before, we juggle everything. We wear so many hats, you know. It is not a crime to have a support network in every aspect of those hats that we wear, you know. So that is why we're looking at your support network being your family members. It can be your trusted friends. It can be, you know, other parents as well. It can be
Yeah,
your
church
church,
members.
yes, church members, parenting groups, school or even professionals, community organizations. It can be your mentor, your coaches, online community. We are all living on social media today. We're all having different groups online today. So it might be you've got like a group online that you think that they are talking about a particular thing that concerns you, a particular worry, and maybe you're going there to seek some advice, to seek some comfort. That can be your support network, and even professional services as well. So, but having, like we've said, having many people around you does not automatically mean you have a good support network. And that is why me and Nelly we're going to be talking today, because it's asking the question, the support network that I have, is it making or breaking me? And how do I know whether it's a quality one that is working for me and my children? Yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks for that, Peggy. So, the first point we will look into is identify the people and resources that can
Mm-hmm.
provide meaningful emotional, practical, and parenting support.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we start identifying the people and resources? We've talked about someone we trust. So, let's be clear here. A parent can trust someone, but
Mm-hmm.
then their child might mistrust that person.
Yeah.
So, as parents, we need to be mindful. If a child says they don't like a particular person,
Mm-hmm.
explore that because there would be something that is not working well with that child.
Yeah.
So you cannot say you have a support network for a parent that is not supportive of the child, unless
Yeah.
you want, or unless that parent wants to treat the child differently from themselves, which again, if as a family we want to work together and then we are differentiating, it doesn't work well.
Yeah.
But then that's just one aspect, someone you trust, someone you can rely on, reliability.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't get someone in your network who is always causing trouble. That
Mm-hmm.
one, yeah, the person might be willing to support you, but are they making you or are they breaking you? What examples are they setting for your children, for your family as a whole? So those are
Yeah.
just some of the two point that we can take note of when
Mm-hmm.
identifying people to be
Yeah.
in a support network. Then, when we go to resources, I know resources are being delivered by people. So
Yeah.
you might build or you might not want a relationship with the resources or the person behind the resources, but it doesn't mean that the resources cannot be helpful. It
Yeah.
might be the way some other person might deliver that resource that will make you connect
Mm-hmm.
with the resource. But then focus on the resource. What is the resource doing to you? So so Peggy,
Yeah.
just
I
thinking,
think, yeah,
is the
I think
resource.
yeah, I think what you've said there is so important. And it comes back to beliefs, it comes back to some perceptions that we as a community, because when we talk about it as a community here, we're talking, especially this, what we're discussing can save any parent. It doesn't matter wherever they raise, wherever they come from. But sometimes we're kind of focusing on the Afro-Caribbean parents, where the notion again of the support and the notion of the resources, sometimes they have like misunderstanding. They might look at you thinking that, oh no, I cannot get anything from you, but you've got a resource that can actually provide or solve a problem that they need, or provide a solution to a problem that they need. But that barrier, they're looking at you and thinking, I know, but I cannot. Again, it comes back to what Nelly just mentioned, that when it comes to support network, you're asking the question, is it breaking or making me? It's not about you hanging, because Nelly, I've learned something. I'll share an experience. There was one time that I was having a conversation with my mentor, and as we're talking, I think we're talking about network, and we're talking about your circle. We're talking about your inner circle. And then she asked me, he said, who is your friend? Who is your friend? Who supports you? Because I think we're having a conversation like, I feel like sometimes I feel like I am at the forefront supporting everybody, but who supports me? I'm pouring into people who pours back into me, right? And so as we're having this conversation, then she now said, okay, who is your friend? Do you know that was a simple question, but I couldn't answer. I couldn't answer because, and then I was like, I don't really have friends. And then I asked her, I said, define me a friend. What is a friend? And then she now defined a friend is somebody who can pour into you positively, somebody who does not judge you, somebody who is your confident, your confidence, your confident booster, your cheerleader. And she was just going on and on. And I listened and I was like, if it is based on those definitions, if friendship is those definitions that or those qualities that you've just identified, then to be honest with you, I don't think I have a friend. I feel like I've got how do they call it? There's a word for it. There's a word. I've got
Acquaintance.
acquaintance. I've got acquaintance. I haven't got friends. But then the friends that I've got instead, there may be a few people of my own family and my own four family members, and I said, okay, can that be my friend? And she said, yes, that can be your friend, so long as you know that you can run to them, they will not judge you, they will not. And this is what that support network is all about, because sometimes we feel like it's all about building a massive village, a big village, but how we can build a big village, but when it comes to real need, none in that village will be able to support us. And you were talking about something about resources, which I was about to come to. Your support network is about resources. Again, we as parents, we have issues that we are grappling with in the community, issues with our children, issues with our relationship, issues with our own self-growth and all of that. And just the fact that we've got a mindset that, hey, this person from this particular area cannot support me, although they may have that resource that can support you, right? But because of that misconception, you're looking at that person that no, that person cannot support me. That person is not my support network. But that person has got the resource that actually can take you from point A to point B. So we need to learn to separate even people from what the resources that they're offered. I might separate you, Nelly, as Nelly, from the resources that Nelly has got, which I think that resource can benefit me. So I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes sense. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. I think just to add to that point, it is good here for us to identify, to make it much easier to understand, like to
Yes.
identify what support do you need. So then
Yes.
we look at the need. So it could be emotional support. So if you look at emotional support, who is there? Who can listen to you without judging? Like Peggy said,
Mhm.
that could be your partner, your parent, your close friends, your siblings or other relatives, your
Mhm.
parents, who have undergone similar experiences, parenting groups, we've talked about this,
Mhm.
your counselor,
Yeah.
your therapist, your coach, any professional that is supporting you. It could
Mhm.
be someone who can provide practical support. For instance,
Yeah.
someone who can look after your child for a short period of time, help you with school or nursery runs, prepare meals, do shopping, house tasks, accompany a parent to appointments. So this is
Mm-hmm.
just a list of the different things that you might need practical support with. Help
Yeah.
during illnesses or
Yeah.
particularly stressful periods, provide emergency childcare.
Yeah.
Other resources could be,
Absolutely.
or the needs could be, parenting and professional support, which can
Mm-hmm.
be, say, your health visitor, your GP, midwife, any healthcare professional, school or nursery staff, parenting
Mm-hmm.
programs, family hubs, community or voluntary organizations, children specialists, services, online
Mm-hmm.
parenting groups. We have mentioned it. So it's for you to first of all identify your particular needs and then who
Yeah.
is there, which goes back to Peggy, what Peggy said, and the question her mentor asked. Sometimes
Yeah.
we say, we belong to or we know people. Are those acquaintances? Are they friends? Can they provide particular support? If they can, we need to differentiate because sometimes when we use an umbrella word that, oh, these are my friends or these are my support network, what actually can they support you with? Because you might have a particular issue, but then when you speak to them, you'll be surprised that no one can actually support you. So
Yes.
it's for you to identify if you already have a group of people that you can rely on. You need to like filter them. What can this person support me with? What can that person support me with? Because like I have realized being in being an entrepreneur, you see things
Mm-hmm.
in a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because similar to yourself, Peggy, I know I have a small group of friends,
Mm-hmm.
but then if I go by the definition of your mentors, your
Yeah.
mentors' definition of friends,
Mm-hmm.
then I struggle
Yeah.
because like now, probably if I were just an employee like I was for many years, that could have been
Yeah.
easy. But now I've moved a step higher
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in this entrepreneurship, which is strange to me. There's learning all the time. And then
Yeah.
those I consider my friends, they are looking up to me that, oh, you know too much. Teach us. So I'm like, I am still struggling. There's still so much for me to learn. I don't have anyone up there which
Yeah.
I would consider within my friendship group or support network.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, now I'm going to the resources that you talked
Yeah.
about because there are
Yeah.
organizations that support entrepreneurs. So
Yeah.
it is you finding out who can provide the support on what.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the first thing first is like you say, is first of all identify the need. What do you need? And then there you can now find the support that you need, you know. So it's very important because if we look at we're talking about a whole, if we look at parenting like a whole circle where our children need all kind of needs, like whether academics and all of that. There is no harm to say, you know what, for every need that I need, or for every need that my child need, anything that I have a doubt in or I do not know, I will find a support around that thing, you know, so that if I anytime I'm stuck, I know that okay, I can tap into my support network and say, okay, can you support me in with this? If we can identify those areas, you will see that life is going to be even less easier. It'll be easier because we know that we're not going to be bogged down with with a question that we cannot answer. We're not going to be bogged down with issues that cannot be resolved. Sometimes you may have a question in your mind that is bugging you. You just need the right resource to just go and say, you know what, I'm having trouble with this. How can I deal with it? Which angle can I take? And just by that little explanation or little support that will give you, that's it. Your relief, that stress gone. But we need to move from the part from the position where we think like we can handle everything. Like, I can deal with everything. I know there's online resources. I know you can Google on your phone. If there's anything, you can just go on Google and Google. AI will tell you. But sometimes you need that human person that will sit and talk to you on the phone and will kind of offer you the support that you need, and say, this is the direction, this is a step. And they may be talking based on their own experiences or based on any like knowledge that they've learned. Again, let us not shy away from creating the support that we need and that it can be beneficial for us.
Yeah. And then just to add to the point that Peggy has made is
Mhm.
when we have a support network, it doesn't mean that we have to solely depend on them, because when we depend on them, we put a lot of responsibility on them, and
Mhm.
that can result to them starting to withdraw or not provide the support that they initially wanted to. So when you ask for support from your network, put in some effort as well so they know that you are, I mean, they'll appreciate that effort that you are putting in, regardless of the fact that you are struggling. And with that, they will continue to want to support you rather than you just want them to do everything. For example, if you have a child and say you are working and the time
Mhm.
that school starts is a time you are meant to be at work, and probably you
Mhm.
have a neighbor or you have your parents who can take the child to school. Now you want to rely solely on them taking your child to school and probably bringing them home. They can do
Mhm.
that for some time without complaining, it's fine. But then if you
Mhm.
solely rely on them and you don't even make an effort to say probably once or twice a week you pick up that child, it will get to a point where they must have had enough and they'll be
Yeah.
reluctant to continue. But by you maybe indicating to start late or pick a later shift, something like that, it
Yeah.
might give them the encouragement that yes, you are struggling with childcare, you are asking them to help with the school runs, but you are as well putting in effort to do some of the school runs, which
Mhm.
then is not solely dependent on them doing that.
And another important thing that I just picked up from what you said, Nelly, again, is supporting or building a support network is reciprocity. You support me, I support you, especially when it comes to parenting. And like you said, sometimes uh, um, we may get so used to the fact that, oh, this person is offering me support, so I'm just gonna dump everything on them, and that no, it's both ways. There are days that maybe that person as well is a parent. There are days that you can say, okay, you know what? I'm also gonna parent. I'm also gonna look after your own children. I'm gonna pick them, drop them in school. Some days, even you can say, you know what? I'm gonna take that children, stay with them so that you can have a day off. So it's about helping each other so that that burden is not the burden is not relied on one person. And like I always say sometimes is that sometimes again in supporting network or supporting having a supportive community, we can just use our initiative. I was having a conversation the other day with a lady, and she was saying that she used to drop her daughter with this particular family, and everything was fine at the start, but it got to a point where they started asking for money, like, you know what, if you want to drop your child with me, you will need to pay so and so and so, which she didn't mind. And I was like curious, like, but how did it got it went from free to money? But then from the way she explained, I noticed that she herself did not take initiative. She did not take initiative at the beginning to say, you know what, although you are helping me with my child, there are days that I can just come back and say, you know what, you know, just get a bag of food or just go into a supermarket, do some quick shopping, or call that friend and say, hey, I'm at the supermarket. What do you think you need? Just buy those little things, put them in the bag and bring them. Again, it's win-win. So it's about being, let us be how conscious. Let us be conscious, because I've seen people that will also use a network or support network without actually giving something into that, pouring into that network. So it's a give and take. So we need to be
Yeah,
mindful of that.
yeah. Yeah, that's really important. And just to go back to a point that we spoke about earlier, I just thought it's important to reiterate on this fact that I want to talk about. So
Mhm.
if you want to have a support network, and especially if you want to be giving your child or for someone to be providing childcare, speaking from
Mhm.
a social worker's perspective, you need to do your checks.
Yeah.
Because now, okay, we know about abuse. We
Yeah.
know that abuse is in the home. So
Hmm.
imagine, and this you have, I mean, there are so many children who have been abused out there. If you take your child and give to an uncle and auntie, you need to do your checks. You
Yes.
need to do your checks and take that seriously because
Yeah.
this is why a lot of Afro-Caribbean parents they are now realizing because before it was just like, oh, you can go to auntie, uncle, and auntie and uncles were very trusted people. But
Yeah.
parents did not know the things that were going on with their children when they go to aunties and uncles. But now
Hmm.
a lot of those things are coming out, which is making parents really, really mindful of even when they are out and about with their children. Who is the uncle? Who is the auntie the child is being with? So, if we want to give our child to a
Hmm.
trusted person, someone we trust, I'll put it in quote, someone we trust, we need to make sure that we do our findings on that person. Let that person be reliable. Because
Yeah.
I keep talking about social worker because safeguarding is all we concentrate on. So
Yeah.
if, like I said at the beginning, when a family gets involved and we start with assessment, we look at the support network. When they give the details for the person they consider as a support network,
Hmm.
the social worker does checks on that person. So we check
Mm.
on the social services database. Is that person known to social services? Are they linked to anyone, whether it's adult or child, that's
Hmm.
known to social services? We'll do police checks. Are they known to the police? What were they involved with the police with? Are they open to probation? Have there been any calls for domestic? So we do
Hmm.
a lot of checks.
Yeah.
So that is from social workers' perspective. So I am talking now, I'm putting on my social worker's hat. So that's something that you can do. But as an individual, you will not go to the police to say, I need to check on this person because, but then there are other ways that you can find out some information. Though unfortunately, there are other information about individuals that you might only find out with time.
Yeah.
But
Definitely. Definitely.
let's
That is so
focus on
true.
our children. When a child says that they don't feel comfortable with someone, even if
Hmm.
that person is providing very good support, is for us to explore that because there would be something that that child doesn't like with that particular person and take
Yeah.
the
That
child
is true.
serious.
That is so true. That is so true. And sometimes we're very complacent about, this whole thing of we easily trust, especially in our community. Oh no, auntie is gonna be okay. But no, like Nelly is saying, honestly, we really need to do our checks, check and check again. The fact that somebody used to be nice does not mean that they cannot change. So again, we need to be watchful. What is that child? How does that child feel when they come back from that visit? We need to have a conversation with that child, just ask them, let them explore what happened, what did they do, and those sort of thing. So one thing that also wanted to add is that your support network does not have to be large. You must not have the whole community before you feel like you've got a support network. It rather your support network needs to be safe, it needs to be trustworthy, and it needs to be useful. So you may have one person that listen. The person that you know what, when you're drowning in that stress, those thoughts, though, if you just call that person is just listening. Just you can pour into that person. That is one support network. You can have somebody, just one person that gives you the practical support, or another person that just encourages you, or another person that just provides you with professional guidance. That is still a village. So we need to make sure that we are very selective. It's about, does this support network I'm building, what is it, what am I going to gain from it, and what am I going to give to that person as well, because it's a two-way traffic. So we need to make sure that in that way we can build a quality support network that can work for us and our children.
Yeah, and I think this one takes us nicely to our second point, which is learn how to set healthy boundaries and communicate your needs without guilt. I know we've talked slightly about it from our first point, but yeah, it's very, very important. Setting healthy boundaries. I know,
Mhm.
I mean, today, Peggy, just permit me today, I'll keep on talking about, I'll wear my social work hat.
Oh
So,
yes, is that
a
that we were
lot
talking about, this is our children, their safety, which is all about safeguarding. So over to you.
of, so, when it comes to families, children, families, and boundaries,
Mhm.
most of them, there are issues because parents struggle to put boundaries. They struggle to put routines. And sometimes when they put boundaries, they struggle to maintain those boundaries. Because today
Mm,
they'll say, ah no, today you can just let go of that. So that consistency is not there. So we need
yeah.
to first of all find out what are boundaries, what are healthy boundaries. Let's differentiate healthy boundaries from healthy from unhealthy boundaries because they are very different. So, for
Mhm.
instance, let me just say unhealthy boundaries. Your child wants to talk to you and you are doing something and you just dismiss that child that you keep on seeking for notice or you are always disturbing me. Yes, you
Mm,
want to put a boundary, but it is not a healthy boundary. A healthy boundary could be, okay, it's good you want to talk to me, but at this very time, I am busy. Probably you were
mm,
cooking, say I am busy. Can you wait until I finish cooking so we can talk? Because you can't leave the hub now. Just something like that. So first of all, you acknowledge that child. All of it is
yeah.
about boundary, and it's good boundary. But then how you respond to that child, they'll take it very differently. So is for the child, the boundary you are putting there is you are busy. Yeah, parents are busy almost all the time. But then what kind of business are you into? You are cooking. The hub is very dangerous. You need to make sure yourself and the child is safe because you might want to engage in that conversation and you might get overtaken and whatever you are cooking gets burned or you want to turn and the spoon or whatever flips, so it's just to be mindful. This is just a very simple,
Mhm.
healthy and unhealthy boundary that I thought that I could take one and separate
Yeah.
them into two. But there are other ones like bedtime, eating time, like when you are eating, you see it very common now. The family is eating and everyone is like on their phones. Sorry, I'm holding my phone here. They're on their phones and then a healthy boundary could be when it's mealtime, all phones away. And that's something my children know me. When we are eating, I mean, we don't, before we used to eat at the table, but now we rarely eat at the table. We can sit
Mhm.
together a few times, but then they know
Mhm.
I always remind them phones away
Yeah.
because you concentrate on the children need to concentrate on their food and eat. And again, it's a bonding time for the family. So it's for you. I mean, every family is different, but it's for you to put, implement, and maintain those healthy boundaries. And then
Yeah.
also communicate your needs without guilt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you were talking, it's more about the boundary with yourself and your children, which is very, very important. And
Yes.
we can also talk about your boundaries with your support network, because even about the support network you're building, you need to build a boundary around it. First thing first is by putting away the guilt, because I think we've talked about the fact that people are afraid to ask because they feel like they're going to be judged as being unable to cope, or they're going to be judged as if they're failing. But no, you asking does not mean that you're failing, you know. And by you asking does not mean that you are being a burden onto people, because that's another thing that people feel like, no, I don't want to ask for help because I don't want to be a bother or a burden onto someone. No, you are looking at the fact that, especially if you're looking with what we discussed, that your support network that you're creating is a give and take, right? We all need each other. So while you build that support network, you need to have boundaries. Boundaries for you that you're getting the help, and you that you're giving the help. For example, if I accept that I'm going to be a maybe supporting another parent, and we all are parents, they drop their kid with me, or I drop their kid in school and they drop my own kid. Among both of us, we need to set some boundaries, right? Because boundaries is like, you cannot just you need to at least inform me early enough. For example, if you're a working parent, right? If I've got my rota, I know the days that I'm working. So I need to alert the other person early enough and say, okay, these are the days that I'm working, right? These are the days that I will need support. Would you be able to provide support? At least in that way, you've communicated what you need. You've communicated it in time, right? And a way you've respected them, because you also know that they are busy. But do not let somebody use you all the time. Ensure like last minute, because I've seen cases where last minute somebody is pulling up with a child in front of somebody's house at odd time and knocking on their door when they did not inform that person. So it's about you also setting boundaries that, hey, if you want me to support you or support you, especially when it comes to pick a child picking and dropping, inform me so and so day, or inform me, give me maybe 2 days notice, 1 day notice, that sort of thing, so that I can prepare myself. That is in a way a boundary that you're building. And that boundary, if it is a healthy boundary, is going to maintain that relationship. Because where there is no solid boundary, the relationship will collapse because of misunderstanding. So that is a one aspect of it as well.
Yeah, and Peggy, parents find it difficult to establish boundaries for various reasons, and they worry
Yes.
that they might disappoint family members. They might
Mm,
appear selfish or being judgmental as bad parents,
yeah.
or boundaries might create conflict, which is common.
Mm,
Owning someone or owing someone something in return, which we've talked about it, or saying no to people who have previously helped that have previously helped them. So there
yeah.
are just very different reasons. But again, we are talking generally here around parenting and support network. But
Yeah.
we have talked about having other people's children.
Hmm.
Parents have different beliefs, different approaches. So,
Yeah.
and I would just talk about how children naturally are manipulative. You
Hmm.
might get a friend or someone's child or in your support network, and they want to tell you how to deal with them. Okay, I've talked about phone, that all phones need to be put away when eating.
Hmm.
And I do that anywhere I go to. But a child who probably that is not an issue in their house will not
Hmm.
understand why they have to put their phones away.
Yeah.
Or sometimes the child knows that in their house they have to put their phones away, but they say, but you are not my mom, you are not my dad. What are you telling me to do? Because, I mean, there are cases like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's for you to put that boundary and maintain it.
Mhm.
Like for the list that I've just talked about, it's not you creating conflict. It's just you
Yeah.
doing things the way you want to do it because you feel that putting those healthy boundaries will be good for you and for those
Yeah.
within your network.
Absolutely. And sometimes we need to learn to do that without being guilty. We
Yeah,
don't need to always feel, look, we need to say it's a give and take. I need support. I need help. It does not mean like you're vulnerable and you feel like, you know what, I don't want to, I'm feeling guilty of asking. No, be bold, you know, be courageous to ask for help because it is okay, it is fine to ask for help, especially if you're asking a help from the right source or from the right network or from the right people. You know, you will notice that they are going to be more than happy to help you as well. So, you know, rather than saying, you know what, oh, I'm struggling this week, you know, don't give. Sometimes, again, I always say there is no need for explanation. You don't need to go and explain your whole issue, the whole process, everything that you're going through before you can ask for help. You could just ask somebody that, you know what, hey, I'll need help, you know, to pick up my son from school today. Can you help? That's as simple as that. You know, the person can either say yes or say no, but don't go and be so vulnerable and you explain because that by you explaining a lot of things you're also showing your vulnerability in such a way that in the long run it will be difficult for you to set healthy boundaries around it. So just ask for the help, and it goes back to what Nelly and I said before. Is first of all, the first thing is first of all identify what is the help that I need and who do I need that help from? Where do I need that help? So once you identify it, then of course you'll be confident enough to know that I can approach this person and ask for the right help. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I think, Peggy, that takes us nicely to the third point, which is discover how to build a support system that
yeah,
strengthens your confidence and well-being as a parent.
yeah.
So, taking into consideration all that we have talked about, it doesn't mean that you must follow all. It's just suggestions that we are talking about because you are the expert in your family life. So, you know what works, what doesn't work for you. So, adapt it, or there will be loads that we haven't talked about because, I mean, we are
Mm-hmm.
talking about just some of them that we know about, and that's why we are here. We are open to hear from you as well because we are here to learn. We are, yeah, we just want to
Yeah,
learn.
yeah.
So is how do you build your support system that strengthens your confidence and well-being as a parent?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we've talked about like again, I've mentioned like not everyone who offers help is necessarily healthy for you, right? There are people out there that might say, hey, I'm a help, I'm a help, I'm a help, but you need to ask. Yes, they might be offering help, but is it really helpful? Are they the right person for you? Are they going to come and give you one? Are they going to come and give you, how can I put it? Are they going to come and give you one help, but then drain you after? So it's about asking, like, you know what? The help that you're going to give me, is it going to be helpful? Is it going to make or break me? Right? Because sometimes people will offer to provide you with help, but then they will expect control in return. And this is especially if you have been so vulnerable to them. Remember, I said before, if you open up and explain and explain and explain, you know, and then they see your vulnerability. I understand that sometimes is important to pour out, but again, pour out to the right person. Pour out, you know, to the person that is going to listen without judging you or without using that pain against you. And
Yeah,
sometimes they may use your vulnerability against you. So again, it's about making sure that we find the right support network and make sure that we just give the necessary information that is important for the purpose of that support that we need from them. Very, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to know who is in your support network, you can use, get a piece of paper, your journal, and write down all the people that you think are in your support network. Then
Mm-hmm.
you go now to categorize them. You might
Mm-hmm.
say, out of these people, who is the people that I trust? Like Peggy said earlier on, it doesn't have to be many. It can be one or two people with the
Mm-hmm.
trusted people that you can contact them when things are difficult emotionally. So just one or two, it doesn't have to be many. And then
Mm-hmm.
you go to the next practical network. Who are the people that can help you with things like childcare, transport, meals,
Mm-hmm.
shopping, or household responsibility? Then you
Mm-hmm.
go to the next parenting community, other parents who can share their experiences, ideas, resources. Peggy talked about
Mm-hmm.
online or parenting support groups. Then
Mm-hmm.
you go to another category, which is professional support. Who are there that can support you with, say, healthcare, with health-related issues, school,
Mm-hmm.
family services, counselors, specialist organization. And then you look at the self-support. How do you support your own self? For
Yeah.
instance, sleep, rest,
Mm-hmm.
exercise, hobbies, reflection. Give yourself realistic expectations and take time
Mm-hmm.
away from parenting responsibilities where possible because you need to. Peggy talked about giving, giving, giving. When you give, you need to fill up because if you
Yeah.
keep giving and your cup gets empty, what will you be giving? You'll be giving
Yeah.
other people your stress. And people don't want to take other people's stress. So you need to. That self-care is important. That is a way
Yeah.
that you are helping yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes down again to, we need to, when we're seeking support, we need to seek support with confidence and not guilt. This is a point where you can actually tell somebody, you know what, I need your support, but I don't need your judgment, right? If by you supporting me meaning that you're going to judge me, judge everything I do, then I'm sorry, I don't need the support. Yes, I need the support, but I don't need your judgment. So you either accept to support me, or you reserve the support or leave the support. So we need to be very confident, because in that way, that is how we're also building that confident atmosphere around our children. We don't want to go and keep our children with somebody that we feel so vulnerable to, that person. We feel like, you know what, we are at the mercy of that person just because they're offering us some support. No, we need to make sure that we're confident. We need to make sure that we understand what that support is for, and we understand that as a parent, yes, I need support, as I can as well offer you support. So don't make me feel vulnerable, or don't make me feel so weak, just because I've asked for support from you. Yeah.
Exactly. And Peggy, that's something that I tell parents. I say, if you are seeking support from any professional, don't just
Mm-hmm.
be there at their mercy.
Yeah.
When they offer you support, you need to be
Mm-hmm.
proactive
Yeah.
because unfortunately, I have seen, probably was in my role, that parents just say yes to whatever suggestions is made to them because they are fearful that if they say no, probably that support will not be there, or they might write a very negative report on 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 the support that they've refused. I say, parents, you are the ones who live your life with your children 24/7. You might not be there some hours, but you know your children in and out. When you are being when you are offered support, be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Identify if a support is being provided to you that you feel is not actually working for you and your family. You have the
Mm-hmm.
right to say, hang on, I think that is not the support that I need. Come
Mm-hmm.
up with your own suggestion. This one might be better. So don't just go there and say yes because they're professionals. they are professionals, yeah, but you are leading your own life.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't make yourself very, very vulnerable because unfortunately, we see or I see a lot of people who are very vulnerable, and
Yeah.
especially those who have the victim mentality. And there are others who feel that they are entitled to, but then they are not taking that responsibility. So then they build that dependence on other people doing things for them, which that's why the
Mm-hmm.
society is available. Because if you don't take that decision for yourself, other people are
Mm-hmm.
there who will do that for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, and look, just like you've already you've identified the, the emotional support, you've talked about practical support, you've talked about parenting support, professional support, spiritual support as well, and we've talked about social support. So I think there was one time that when I was going through, I think it was a few years ago when I did like, it just came to my mind. It's like a circle, like an inner circle. No, actually, I think in a chapter in my book, I talk about your hierarchy of relationship, which again that can also work with your support network, where you look at, for example, if you want to help, like identify which support network is important, if you draw a circle, like you draw one circle and then you draw another circle at the back and then another circle again. So the inner circle that you drew, those are the people that are in your inner circle. Those are the people that you trust and feel safe with. Those are the people that if there's anything, they'll be the first person that you pick your phone and call them. Those are people in your inner circle. And then the second circle is going to be people you can rely on for specific type of support, like Nelly have identified. It can be your spiritual support, it can be practical support, parenting support, social support, even your academic support if you're a parent that you're going to school, or your professional support if you're a parent that you're working, so that is going to be your second layer of support. And then of course the third circle is going to be your outer support, and that is going to be your community organizations, it's going to be professional groups, it's going to be resources that you can access when needed. So it's very important to ask yourself, like we said, is my support network balanced? Right? Is it balanced? Where are the gaps? Right? And then what type of support do I need more? Is apart, and sometimes our support people within our circle are going to change. People will move away, will fall out. Some people think because the relationship may be nice today, but something may happen. Again, it's about reviewing your support network, you know, over and over. If there's somebody there that you feel that, maybe at the beginning this person was really giving me the support that I needed. Now it seems like they're judging me more than like supporting me. Now I feel like I'm walking on eggshell around them. Then you can take that person off your support network and then bring in another person. So it needs to be reviewed all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think we've covered everything, isn't it, Nelly?
I think so.
Yeah. So we need to just kind of just a quick reminder that being independent is a strength, right? We know that, especially from us parents, we feel like, what, I can handle it. It's a strength, it's a great thing, but when you're hyper independent, it can become so exhausting. It can become so tiring, so overwhelming. In fact, it can lead to burnout. Nelly have talked about burnout. So it's very important that, we don't have to prove that you can do everything alone, and your children don't need a parent who does everything perfectly. There are days that you will make mistakes. There are days that you will feel, anyhow, but at the end of the day, your children just want to know that you are there, you're supporting, and you have got the voice to ask for support when the need arises. And that
Yeah.
in that way, you're also teaching your children that it's okay to ask for support if I need it. So that is very important.
Yep. Very, very important. And if you are watching and there's anything that is
Mm.
important or any ideas that you have that we have not talked about, please write that in the comments and it will really
Mhm.
help us. Like I said, Peggy and myself, we are here, we are learning, we are all work in progress.
Absolutely.
And we know certain
Absolutely.
things that you might not know, and we believe that you know certain things that we don't know as well. So it's a give and take.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And we're all learning. We're learning. We are your support network, and you can also be our own support network because we're learning from you,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. For those, like we said, it was a recorded session for those who are gonna listen to it. And if, like Nelly said, if there's anything that you feel you can add, put it in the comment section, and of course we're gonna pick on it. And if you want to join us, and have this conversation, please by all means do. There is actually the barcode. When you scan if you scan the barcode that is there, it's gonna take you to the Zoom, where we can all have a conversation. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you. I hope you learned something, and also share it with somebody who you think that it may benefit that person as well. So yeah, that is me from my end. Nelly, you want to say parting word?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's always nice to come here and share our little experiences, and we look forward to your comments because we just want to learn as well to make this world a better place to help our parents because we work with parents, we work with
Mhm.
families as well. So it's just a learning point, and it's always a pleasure. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for watching. And if you want to join us, I mean, like we said, this is a recorded session, but next session, which is in 2 weeks, we would like you to join us on Zoom so we can stream live. We
Mhm.
have been sharing the Zoom link so you can join us if you want to.
Mhm.
So that's all from me. And thank you so much. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you. You take care. Take
Thank
care. Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.